everybody, and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel. And this weekend it's the Manchester Derby coming up on Sunday afternoon at 4:30. We're away to City. City are absolutely on fire at the moment. They're chasing a record, a European record for wins on the bounce. It's a record held by Ajax at the minute, I believe. I think it's 25 or 26 wins on the bounce, and City are already up to about this. This isn't undefeated, by the way. It doesn't include draws. This is wins on the bounce in all competitions, and I think City are on 23 already. So they're edging really close. We need a point. I'm going to speak about the Premier League table shortly. I watched a couple of games last night, by the way, and I think before we know it, if we don't start stringing a couple of wins together, we could find ourselves in a scrap for this top four place. I'm going to mention one or two of the other clubs, and we need a point. We've only got 2 league games before the international break. We've got 3 cup ties. We've got AC Milan twice, and we've got Leicester in the FA Cup. So we've got City in the league, and we've got West Ham at Old Trafford. We need to get 4 points from those 2 games. Don't care which way round they come. Obviously, if we beat City, we'll be looking for a win against West Ham. But I'm not expecting I'm not expecting a point against City, let alone to beat them. But I would take a draw. If we get that draw against City and beat West Ham, we'll go into that international break firmly in the driving seat. We can't afford 2 draws though. We really do need 4 points. So this weekend, I'd love us to get this point that would keep us in the driving seat, as I say. But not only that, it damaged his chances of breaking this European record of 26 wins on the bounce in all competitions. There's rumours around that Marcus Rashford, his shoulder injury is looking like it could make it. I can't find any concrete reports about this, but I am seeing lots and lots of rumours about his shoulder injury playing up, and the fact that he might miss the Manchester Derby. A hell of a lot of people on Twitter saying what we're going to do, how we're going to manage. When are people going to wake up? He's playing so poorly. Does it matter? I really don't get it. Does it matter if he's not fit? To me, it really doesn't matter if he misses the Manchester Derby. Hopefully Martial's fit to play there. I don't mind if Dan James plays there, if Cavani's fit to play at 9. Greenwood's not been pulling up any trees, but it really doesn't matter if it's Greenwood and James or James and Martial if Martial's fit, or even if Martial's at number 9 if Cavani's not fit, and James, that'd leave James and Greenwood on the flanks. To be honest, Martial was said to have had a slight knock, so if Martial's fit, obviously against City, even though we call it 3 forwards, the 2 wide men will be playing more in midfield against City. I would have no problem against City with it being James, Martial. In fact, I prefer it. Don't forget when we played Liverpool away, Marcus played at number 9 and Martial played wide on the left, and the reason for that, a lot of people thought it was because Marcus's pace, getting balls in behind. That wasn't the reason. If it was about the number 9, Martial's better at holding the ball up. That would have been a good reason to play Martial at number 9. But Martial, his positional sense and the way he fits into a team shape when you're defending is better than Marcus's. And obviously they're dangerous with Trent Alexander bombing forward on the right hand side. So Martial played wide on the left at Anfield, and they weren't doing as badly then, by the way, as they are now. But he played wide on the left at Anfield, and he was tasked with the job of stopping Trent Alexander, and he did it perfectly. And I'd have no problem with Anthony Martial doing that job for us on Sunday. So I'd be quite happy with Dan James on the right, Anthony Martial on the left, and Cavani at number 9. I actually think it's our best 3 for this game. So to be worrying about Marcus being injured is beyond me. He played so poorly. He's been playing poorly anyway, but he played so poorly at Palace. He really did. It's time he had a rest anyway. It's time we gave somebody else a chance. So I watched a couple of games last night. I watched West Brom and Everton. Not a great game, but it wasn't a bad game. But Everton won 1-0, an header from Richarlison, and that's moved Everton up to 46 points. So Everton are 5 points behind us with a game in hand. I've said this before, don't be concerned about the name of the club. People might say, oh, Everton won't finish above us. We're getting close to the end of the season now. All right, we've got 11, we've got 11 games left. We're not that close to the end of the season, but it's close enough that you can start looking at the running. So you need to be looking at teams that are only so few points behind us. So Everton are 5 points behind us, with a game in hand on us. It's not easy winning your games in hand, but if they can win that game in hand, obviously it puts them within 2 points of us. So that was you could see it as well at the end of the game. The Everton players, I think it's the third win on the bounce, and I think they said it's the fourth game on the bounce that Richarlison scored in for them as well. So you can see they've got that. I'm not saying they've got their eye on us, but they've got their eye on that top four without a shadow of a doubt. And they're trying to tick the games off as they go along. They've got. I'll come to the weekend's game shortly, but they've got a tough game this weekend. Also, last night Spurs added another 3 points to their total. They beat Fulham away 1-0. I've not seen that goal. I believe it was an own goal. I've also heard that Dele Alli was trying to claim it. But Fulham are a really difficult team to beat. Again, they must have given them a right run for the money, only to get beat 1-0. So Spurs have moved. Spurs have moved on to 42. Now that sounds like a bit of a gap. We're 9 points in front of Spurs. But this is how Spurs fans will be looking at it. They've got a game in hand. If they can win that, they're 9 points in front. So if they can win the game in hand, it puts it to 6 points, and they've still got to play us at their place. Obviously, we've got City this weekend. Spurs are at home to Palace. There's no reason whatsoever why Spurs might not be 6 or 7 points behind us this weekend with a game in hand on us still to go there. So even teams, and Spurs are 8th. So there's no reason whatsoever why Spurs shouldn't be eyeing not only the top four, but even catching us. The other fascinating game was the Liverpool v Chelsea. He's doing a great job, Thomas Tuchel there. He's taken over at Chelsea. They're unbeaten in 10 in all competitions. 7 wins and 3 draws, but to go to Anfield and win 1-0 was a great win for them. Mason Mount, a cracking goal. I've seen that goal. VAR spoiling the game for me. I'm not saying this because it was against Liverpool. I know we've got this rivalry with Liverpool, but I like to think I'm as fair-minded as anybody out there. So I'm not saying this because it was against Liverpool, but Timo Werner must be absolutely distraught having that goal chalked off. They put the lines up on the pitch for anyone who's not seen it. You can see quite clearly that Timo Werner, his foot, and surely it's your foot and your body that's more important, his foot as he's about to start running is a good 8 inches, perhaps maybe even a foot from the line that they've drawn, and Robertson, Liverpool's left back, his foot is almost on the line. To me, he looks clearly onside, but as he's about to start running, I saw a similar thing with Patrick Bamford at Crystal Palace a good few weeks ago, if not a couple of months ago, and as he's about to start his running action, he's got his arm stuck out. Now I thought it had to be something to do with a part of your body that you could score a goal with. Is that not still the case? I heard Jamie Carragher say on the commentary that you can tell you can tell he's offside because his arm's sticking out further than Robertson's, and that's how tight it is. That's not offside for me. I think it's absolute disgrace. It was 0-0 at the time as well. It could have cost them, but Chelsea did go on to win it, and as I say, it was a great goal by Mason Mount that won it. So it didn't really matter in the end, but it will matter to Timo Werner, who's not really good, and he took it really nicely, the goal as well. And he's not scored a lot of goals. He's got a few, but he'd love to be scoring a few more. And it's an important goal there that was chalked off, and I think it should have been a goal. Looking at the rest of the table, Leicester only a point behind us. They play Brighton this weekend. They'll be eyeing that, even a draw there. Brighton are playing some good football. Even a draw there to draw them level with us if we were to lose. So Leicester are right there. That win of Chelsea's has taken them on to 47 points. I think Tuchel's got them going in such a fashion that I would say they're nailed. I could be wrong. I would say they're nailed on for top 4 at the minute, Chelsea. So Chelsea are on 47. They're on the same games as us and 4 points behind us now. And As I've just mentioned, Everton on 46 points, 5 points behind us with a game in hand. Fascinatingly, this weekend it is Chelsea v Everton. So in one way that's a good thing. Well, I think it's a good thing for us because those are the ones that are breathing right down our necks. So they can't both get 3 points this weekend. Maybe it'd be handy if it was a draw, that game, for us. But I fancy... Look, Ancelotti's doing a fantastic job. But I do fancy Chelsea will turn them over. I really do. But we'll see. You never know. So it's Chelsea and Everton this weekend. And then one place further back, even West Ham. West Ham are on 45 points. They're 6 points behind us and got a game in hand on us. And then we go down to Liverpool. Liverpool seem to be on... I'll mention Liverpool, but they do seem to be on a downer. That defeat, by the way, it was their 5th defeat in 5 consecutive league games at Anfield. It's the first. I think it's just astonishing what's happened. He's built them into a team that won the Champions League. They got to 2 finals. They won the Premier League with an unbelievable amount of points. They came second in the Premier League with a record amount of points to be second with, and now suddenly they've got this record where they've lost 5 games on the bounce. It's the first time in Liverpool's history that they've lost 5 games on the bounce at home in the league, in the whole history of the club. So it's just unbelievable what's happening there. So Liverpool are on a downer. I'm not really looking at them. I will say where they are though. They've played the same games as us and they are 8 points behind us. Look, if they were on the up and they'd won the last couple of games, I would say they're a danger. But you've got to think to yourself at the minute that Liverpool are not a danger. Shouldn't think like that. I'm sure Ollie's not thinking like that, and he shouldn't do. But as a fan, I'm allowed to say it. I'm not considering Liverpool a danger at the moment. They are at home to Fulham this week, and I just said Fulham are a difficult team to beat. Spurs have beaten them 1-0. But they are in the bottom 3, so it is again. You know, if we were to lose this weekend, which is easily possible, and Liverpool beat Fulham, which is easily possible, suddenly, where are we? 8. Suddenly, they're 5 points behind us. So, you know, I could change my mind by Monday morning. But at the minute, I'm not considering Liverpool a threat. But Spurs, because they are on the up, I do consider them a threat. They're on 42 points from 26 games, so they're 9 points behind us with 1 game in hand. But as I say, they play Palace this weekend. We've just seen how difficult they are to beat Palace, but Spurs are right on the up. I fancy them to beat them. So before you know it, they could be gathering behind us. So we do need to get just a point. Will be fine. A point will be absolutely fine. Live to fight another day, and then try and beat West Ham at Old Trafford next weekend, and then see where that takes us. Just one other thing I'll touch on before I go. I watched the Inter Milan game mainly last night. They played Parma. They've gone 6 points clear. They're doing great there. They've got a few ex-Reds there. A lot of people who watch me regularly know that I like watching ex-Reds. Lukaku's out. He didn't score last night, but he's absolutely on fire. A fantastic assist where he ran the ball from his own half and beat a couple of men, and put Alexis Sanchez in on goal, and Sanchez scored his 2nd goal of the game, so he got both the goals, Alexis Sanchez. Doesn't start very often. He's usually on the bench. Lautaro Martinez is normally Lukaku's partner, and Martinez was rested. I think he was on the bench. Sanchez played and didn't do himself any harm, scoring both the goals. And Inter won 2-1, and they're now 6 points clear of AC Milan at the top of Serie A. So I hope it keeps going well for them, and a few ex-Reds can pick up a trophy. I'd like to see that. So that's that for this morning. I'll be back this evening. We don't know the result yet from the voting for the Player in Focus, so you could have a look at that on Twitter, on Rick the Red UK on Twitter. The poll is up there and you can vote. It's between Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford and Edison Cavani. So one of those players from the Palace game will be the Player in Focus, and that's still available there to be voted on if you want to vote on it. That's that for this morning anyway. I hope you've enjoyed that show. If you've enjoyed that show, please tell all your friends. Please subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, don't tell anybody. Keep stum.